Hi, in this video we're going to create some extra things to make these websites look a little bit better. You notice that there's no title on this application, so people don't really know what they're supposed to be doing. We need to put a title. Also, when we go and do the create new thing, we've got ourselves a entry form here that's pretty small. We're going to change that from a input text to a text area. And also the rating. We have to type in a person's number here. We can put in anything we want, 2.3 for instance, and what we're looking for is a selection box. And then we're going to have a little bit better app when we're done. So let's start with the easy one. Let's put a title here at the beginning of our index page. So let's open up the index.html and do some editing. This is probably the simplest one. Just before the table begins, let's put in an H2 and we'll say these are a few of my favorite things. Alright, now let's go and fix in the edit form. Let's go check out what we've got here. So down here in the description part where it says now describe it, we're using an input text field for this description, and it should be something bigger. So let's see what our options are. I'm going to type in a new command, a new control, H:, and scroll through the list. I'm looking for text area. And here's one called input text area. That might be it. Let's select it. And over here in the description it says it renders the HTML text area element. That's perfect. So let's double click there. Now we're going to provide the beautiful thing object and then a period, and we want the description. So it looks like we're almost the same as what we had. Let's just highlight the other guy, delete it, and save the changes. Now let's go to the input text for our rating. That's a little trickier. We're going to need a select item there. So let's see if there is a select item in my list. So input secret. Okay, so we've got a bunch of select options. Boolean checkbox, many checkbox, list box, menu. Here we go. Select one. So we can do a list box, menu, or radio. I just want one value. I'm going to try the select one menu. And so that will render an option list box. So let's double click here. The value is going to be this exact same thing, the rating. So let's do a beautiful thing, and rating is our choice. And then we have a close tag. Now remember, in select boxes you have these drop-down menus. So let's figure out what has to go inside there. Now I'm pretty sure that we do something instead of H. We're looking for something from this library here, which is using the prefix of F. I only know that because I've done one of these before. So if you haven't done it before, you'd have to go poke around for a while until you find the right thing. I'm looking for something which is a select item. And here it is, select item. So use it as a UI component. I think that might work. So a select item, and you're going to have your label and value set for both of these. So I'm going to choose label, and then also we're going to have a value in there. So item value. So these guys are basically going to be 1 through 5. So I could put in here just the number 1, and then the value is 1, and then I would repeat this for 5 times. I could also write it out as to make it distinct, that they're different. So let's make a list like this. The important part is the value, to make sure that you have real values. The text here is just for the user. So like I said, I'm just making this obvious that these are distinct. So if you put in digits 1 through 5, it would work just fine. Okay, let's clean that up. Save the work here. We've changed a few things that are cosmetic, but let's see how they look now. Let's run the server, and the first thing we should notice is the title of our index page. Here we go. Looks like we could center that. That would be a good idea. When we create a new thing, we have ourselves got ourselves an entry form. Where's my drop-down box? It looks like it's only set for the edit value. There's a difference now. So we've got ourselves got the drop-down box for one form but not the other. Also, this is still pretty small. We're going to fix up a few of those details and we'll be done with the video. So the edit form works great. Let's go with the entry form, and we're going to do the same options here. So the description, we want to change it from an input text to an input text area. I think that's what I used. I'm going to copy and paste here. So let's see, that guy, line 35, and the entry form about line 35. So we changed it to input text area. And then the selection box. So instead of using this input text, we want to borrow from what we just created earlier, the select. Let's copy that and put it into the entry form, replacing the input text. And then lastly, let's do the centering. So on our headline, we need to center the top of our item. So let's give this H2 a class. And I'm going to call it centered headline. So we might have more than just one. I'm going to make it in a CSS model here, and let's put in the dot centered. And it's pretty simple. We're going to do text align. I think that's the proper form. Let's test it out and see what happens. Let's refresh the page. We've got centering now. Let's click the edit button. Looks like we have the drop-down menu. We have a text area, which should be bigger. When we create a new thing, we've also got a place where we can enter a text area. Okay, one last chance. We're going to make this bigger. So instead of just value, we're going to add another couple of things here. So we got rows. So the rows is going to be how tall this thing is. So let's make it 6. And the columns is going to be 50. I think that might be what we want. I'm just going to check real quick on text area tag and see what we want. So yeah, we're looking for rows and columns just like I had typed it. So that looks like it'll work. So rows are 6, columns are 50. I'm going to put that in both of my forms. So let's copy here the edit form, and then we also have the entry form for the new things, and that goes in the text area. So a couple of more properties, save the changes and run, and I think we're done. So there we go. The description is bigger now, and so it looks like it's a little bit prettier. Fix up a few things more. We got a centering issue. I'll leave that up to you. Now the other option that we need to change is the templating. The box at the top of the page is repeated for every single item. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and I'm copying and pasting code into each of those. It's a bad idea. What we need to do is create a template that has a header, body, and footer, and that will let us do less duplicating of code. So we'll do that in the next video.